you guys, it's Farm Talk with Kimberly. No, I'm kidding. It's Real Progressives with Kimberly. I'm on my farm in Brunswick County in Virginia today, and I'm really excited to be here. I'm in the field right now with the horses, so hopefully nothing can go wrong because the tripod is set up and they're really staring at me and the tripod. I wanted to introduce myself a little bit more. Again, my name is Kimberly Lowe. I am in Brunswick County in Virginia, and I want to give you a commentary on Virginia politics a little bit, and I want to tell you how you can get involved because you would be amazed at the power of one. There's really so much you can do. There's so much you can do from home, sitting on your couch. There's a lot that we can do to make our world better. And here, I'm gonna turn you around. Camera. Do you see that? That's a horse nose. Isn't that great? What's that? What's that? So I first learned about Real Progressives when my friend sent me a Facebook message, and there was this angry dude who was yelling. I don't know why. I thought maybe he was in California, and I'm like, whoa, this guy is saying exactly what I'm thinking. Hi, Lisa. And oh, there's another horse right at the camera. And it really spoke to me because it made me feel like I'm not alone. So what I love about Real Progressives is that they're always saying what I'm thinking and what I'm scared to say. But today I'm going to be a little more open and talk about what the reality is here in Virginia. And I may not make a lot of friends because of it, but I feel like a lot of things need to be said. I decided to start running for Congress about 4 months ago. That's a horse nose, sorry. About 4 months ago because I was really, really appalled by the people that were running. I am in one of the poorest counties in Virginia, and people are suffering horribly. We're in a food desert. It's really difficult to get to food. There are no jobs. We have an aging population of people who basically are still here, but their kids have left them. So families are being separated because the economics here are so bad. A lot of trade deals hurt places in Virginia. That's my horse. He's really old. Isn't this great? This is a bad plan, isn't it? I decided to run for Congress because the people that were running are completely out of touch with the general population. The Democrat that was running wanted to bring internet to people. Internet, but they'd still have to pay. Let me tell you what, I have internet here. I don't understand how this would enrich anyone's lives. I was totally disturbed by this. What's even more disturbing is that a lot of the Democrats don't understand that District 5 or District 9 in Virginia has a certain point value to it. So for example, in District 5 in Virginia, in which I was running, it's an R+5 district. That means that a Republican will always win with a 5-point gain. What does that mean? That means that the Democrat can't win. And why? It's because the Republicans saved up a lot of money and they redistricted. And basically the majority of the population identifies as Republican. And I'm appalled by the amount of money that the Democrats spent running. Apparently the Democrats spent around $3 million running a campaign here to lose to a Republican who only spent about $600,000. I don't understand how anyone can support that. I don't understand why it should cost even $1 million to get your vote. For example, I would have a friend that would contact me and be like, Kimberly, did you look at the Democrats' website? Man, you know, look at her website. She's really got it going on. I'm like, yeah, she spent $3 million, you know? I hope it looks really good. I hope all those flyers in the mail were really great. So it's disturbing that anybody wants to support that when you cannot win as a Democrat in that district. And I think it's great if you want to reform the Democratic Party. I think that's great. But I think that you need to wake up in a district that has been redistricted, it's my horse, I'm sorry, and not try to run a Democrat in an area that has an R+5 or R+9 point system. A Democrat's not going to win. Why are you wasting your time? What we could have done is we could have built a movement over 4 months. But no, what did the Democrats do? They decided that they were going, this is my horse Aramis, the Democrats decided they were going to support a person who ran no platform to help any people, who's wealthy, and I'm sorry if my connection is weak. What we could have done is we could have built momentum. We could have done something else. It was a total waste of time. And it's, you know, I basically could say there, I told you so. So to the Democrats out there in Virginia, I think you guys need to come up with a new plan. You know, it's not working. Clearly, a Democrat in some of these districts can't win. You guys need to get that. So I'm running for Congress in 2018 here, and I have a plan and strategy to win, but Democrats really can't win. So what I wanted to also talk about, which I find really disturbing, and the horse is in my son, so I'm sorry about that. This is Irma. She's my baby. What I wanted to talk about is that the people in Republican conservative areas are really beautiful people. They are beautiful people. They are your homeschooling mom down the street who stays at home with her kids. They are the police officer that lives across the street from you. They're not racist. It's the guy that owns the convenience store and the little country store in the little town that when you go in and visit, he decides just to give you a hot dog just because you're visiting. It's the guy at the coffee shop in the little rural town who's willing to buy you a cup of coffee. These people are beautiful, beautiful people. And I'm really, really tired of people beating up on them because they're not racist. They are people living in rural America who are suffering. And they are some of the most beautiful, giving people I have ever met in my entire life. I spent over a month on the road traveling through 20 different counties in extreme rural parts of Virginia. Everyone took me into their home. Everyone took care of me. Everyone treated me like family. I know, the horses are great. I thought this was like really entertain you in the meantime. So I want you to understand that these are people who have watched all their downtown shops close up. These are shop owners that might be holding on to their last shop that realize they can't hold on to it much longer. These are people who are watching their farms go away and die because they can't get the same price for corn or soybean or for tobacco. The tobacco farmers are suffering. They're not getting money for their crops. They're doing really, really poorly. And so these are people that are crying out to the system saying, we have a two-party system that's not working. And somebody like Donald Trump came along who's anti-establishment and is like, yeah, something is wrong. Let's make America great again. Because a lot of these people see that things are really, really, really bad. They didn't vote for Trump because they're racist. They're really beautiful people. So please stop beating up on my Republican constituents and friends. You know, my BFF is a Christian conservative Republican who stays at home and homeschools. I'm a homeschool mom in a very conservative area, and the people are beautiful. They aren't racist. So stop beating up on them. I'm really tired of it. I'm particularly tired of it from the Vote Blues here. There's a lot of Vote Blues here, and they're constantly trashing Republicans. And I think that they need to go out and actually talk to people to get their point of view, because they're not bad people. You know, they're people that realize that policies are bad and that Washington is bad, and they really want someone to save them. So what is my role going to be with RP? I'm going to be the education person. And there's a lot that we can do together. And I taught grades 6 through 12 in a public school. I've been a college professor, and I've homeschooled my kids from the time that they were born until, I guess, through 6th grade now. I've got 3 kids. I stay at home. I farm. And I really got into politics recently because politics really isn't a dirty word. It's about improving our quality of life. And Congress is really, really the key. If we can replace Congress with the right people who understand economics, we could have a completely transformed world. He's about to knock my tripod over. I'm sorry. I mean, we could have single-payer health care. Can you imagine how much money you would save per month if you didn't have to pay that much for health care? We pay $800 a month for health care, and if anybody gets sick, we honestly just don't go, because when we do go, we know that insurance doesn't pay for it. I've got medical debt and bills from when I got sick years ago after I moved here. We could have a different life. Can you imagine what you could do with an extra $800 per month? You know, we have to watch what we feed our family. We try to be really self-sustaining on the farm and make a lot of our own food, and we've got chickens for eggs. But how many of you have found yourself going to the dollar store to shop for food because food costs so much? How many people are struggling just to make ends meet? It didn't have to be that way. Because we are monetarily sovereign, we can have whatever we want. We could have education. There's no reason for us to put the burden of so much student loan debt on our children and on our population. How many of you are having to pay so much money in student loans? And I'm sorry if my connection's weak. It could be because my horse's entire body is blocking the camera. Maybe, right? So what can you do? There's really, really simple things that you can do. You can share videos that you see, like what Real Progressives produces on news. And it's really, really important to support media sources like Real Progressives, because that's where you're going to get your real news. Our news is bought by just a handful of corporations, and they're not giving us any information at all. They're not talking about what's going on in North Dakota. How else do you get that information? And that's another thing. I want my vote blue no matter who Virginians to get your head out of the sand. It sickens me that you continue to eat this propaganda in fear. It's like somebody's giving them a cup and they're like, here's your propaganda, drink it, swallow it, take it down. And they're not getting the big picture at all, and it really, really disturbs me. So what you can do is you could share videos from Real Progressives, alternate news media, because that's where you're going to get your real news. Our news is totally blocked out otherwise, and Real Progressives is growing. They're working on really great things. They're going to be working on activism and education and understanding policy. So it's a whole lot bigger than news. It's really amazing what we're going to be doing. And you're a piece of it. You're a part of it. You're a truth teller. You have so much power yourself. So sharing videos is one. And then we are going to come up with a grassroots program where you can go out and teach people about modern monetary theory, and you can learn it. It's really simple. I knew absolutely nothing about economics. Maybe that helped me, but I took a real interest in it. And just by understanding that concept, if we can get the general population to understand economics, then we could have a completely different lifestyle in this country. And then if the more of the populace starts to understand it, they're going to push their legislators to make different decisions, because it's Congress that decides the money. Now I have a goat on top of my tripod. I'm sorry, you can't see him. I like how Cracker behind me is getting his spot, in the spotlight. Pretty cool. So, yeah, that's the most important thing right now that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to introduce myself more, talk about why politics isn't a dirty word, and that your involvement doesn't have to be so huge. It can just be something really simple, and it will change the world. I've done all sorts of different things with my life. What all have I done? Goodness me. I have way too many degrees, way too much college debt. I wanted to go to medical school to be a doctor, but first I started out being an archaeologist. I've done archaeology in southern Russia. He's talking about crackers. Crackers ham, I know. I've ended up teaching grades 6 through 12. I already talked about that in the public school, but I figured out really quickly that I can't change the education system at that level. It's really sad. I was forced to change my grades. I was forced to lie about disciplinary behavior. And this is going on everywhere, so that way they can look like kids are really passing when they're not. So we're failing our kids in a really major way. And we can really change the education system from a higher level. It's really important. I've taught at the college level. I've studied in Europe towards a doctorate. I've done chemistry and biology. I've worked on getting compounds out of plants to be used for medicine. And I'm working on a lot of community projects. I'm doing market research on industrial hemp. Industrial hemp is really going to transform the Virginia economy. My idea is that we could have a processing plant for each county. So one county could have a plastic bottle replacement, and then maybe make a contract with someone who doesn't have good stock right now, like Nestle. Nestle isn't looking so good as far as environmentalism is concerned, so it could really help them to replace their plastic with a hemp type of product. We could have a plant for textiles, for paper. It's really high in nutrition content for animals and for people. So there's a lot of really good things that could happen. And I'm sorry that you can't see so good, but literally my entire horse's body is blocking my camera, and I don't think I can move him over while I'm sitting here. I guess I can move back. That would help. So if there are any teachers out there, here he comes. I would love to get in touch with some teachers because some of you guys could take out some of the economics to your local schools. That might be a really easier task for you, and I can help you do that. So please hook your teacher friends up with me, send them to me, and I can teach them about MMT, and maybe they can go talk to some high school government classes, and we can come up with some plans and some solutions. So I'm so glad that you're here. Thanks for being here. We have a lot of work to do. There's a lot that you yourself can do. You know, you are a really big part in this. You guys have to be the truth tellers. Diamond's in the spotlight now. Pretty cool, huh? Doesn't it make this interesting? Great. So yeah, you'll be hearing more from me, and I really want to go out in the community so that way you can see what some of these local people look like. They aren't bad people, they aren't evil people, so please tell your friends to stop beating up on the Republican constituents. They're really beautiful, lovely people. They're just people. Don't blame them for the politics of the party that they choose, you know. They are more awake than your vote blue no matter whose. They are more awake. For example, every single one of them that I talk to, they understand the corruption in this country. They understand. They're way more awake. The vote blue no matter whose, their head is somewhere buried in the sand. It is super disturbing. So yeah, go give your Republican friends a hug because I promise you that they're not racist or bad people. And thank you for being here with me today. I'll be out in the community some, streaming and doing interviews. I really enjoy doing that. And then I'm gonna get you guys learning modern monetary theory for one thing, and then later on some environmental stuff and different policies, because it's your job to be the truth tellers. It can be really simple. It can be, you know, having a conversation over coffee with your mom or your sister or your brother or your children. You know, it's not going to be such a tough thing. So I love you guys. We are the world changers. We can do this. I want you to have hope because a lot of people have lost their hope. That's another story. A lot of people have lost their hope, and it doesn't have to be that way. All right. Love you guys. Signing out from the farm. Bye.